Hello and thanks for joining us. This interview features Carter Boisfontaine, co-founder and president of MantaBio, the third place winner at the Innovators Pitch Challenge at RESI Boston this past June. MantaBio was one of the dozens of early-stage companies selected to pitch in front of a panel of investor judges. In this conversation, Carter shares insights into the company's fundraising goals and their experience at RESI and what's ahead for the team. Carter, could you give us a brief overview of MantaBio's mission and the core technology you are developing?
I'd be happy to. Like any good company worth building, our story started with identifying a problem. We learned that in biopharma, they manufacture biologics, which is a category of drug or therapeutic, like a vaccine, for example, in large bioreactors up to 20,000 liters in size. And right now it takes days to weeks to get results back if you want to test if there's a contamination in your batch. And you need to test regularly because these bioreactors, they're warm and they're nutrient dense, and just like a person, there can be bacterial growth or fungal growth or many other bugs. And right now they're making decisions with their bioreactor before they get the data back if there is an issue in place. So they're operating in the dark. And every time a contamination grows excessively, they often need to throw out the batch, shut down the manufacturing facility, and incur a list of hard and soft costs that usually end up totaling anywhere from 10 to over $100 million per incident. What we wanted to do at MantaBio is give biopharma the equipment to be able to make informed decisions as they progress their batch. So we want to effectively take PCR and bring that to the manufacturing line and fully automate it, sample to answer. So anyone that's working on the floor can pull a sample out, put it into our device, and get answers in 2 hours, hopefully making more informed decisions and reducing the rate of these type of incidences.
So my next question was going to be, how are you standing out from other solutions? I would assume that would be in the timing it takes to get the results back. What else would you like to say about that?
So for the most part, when I think about other offerings, what's predominantly used in the industry is growth-based methods. And growth-based is terminology that typically refers to growing cell culture. So that's like taking a sample off, putting it on a petri dish, and waiting for something to grow on it. And to explain it simply, looking at it with a microscope manually. So you are beholden to the growth rate of whatever microbe is in question. Some things grow rather fast, 1 to 2 days. Some things can take up to 4 weeks to confirm a negative result. And that's the core issue with growth-based methods, where you are waiting too long to make a decision same day, which is the rate at which biopharma operates. PCR, which is our core technology, is used somewhat in the industry, but it comes with a couple issues as the offerings on the table aren't complete. For the most part, when PCR is used, it's used in a reference lab. So often samples are collected and then shipped offsite, which can take up to a day in and of itself. And then the test is very manual, prone to human error, and involves humans working on it. And for the most part, with contamination incidents with biopharma, it is humans introducing a contamination that is often the source of these issues. Human manual tests give an opening for there to be a false positive, where if the sample outside of the bioreactor is introduced to contamination, that will show up in a test. And there may be nothing wrong with your bioreactor. So one, it takes up to a day or longer for shipping, so you can't make a decision same day. And two, there's some shortcomings with a manual test, cost and both on accuracy of data.
And where are you at currently in development, as well as where are you at in your fundraising journey?
We founded this company this year in February 2025. We closed our seed round of financing in April of 2025. And we really attended RESI to follow up with the community and tell them where we are, what we were building, and begin engaging with folks for our Series A, which won't happen until next year. But as a result, we're really just getting started. My co-founder, Dr. Jack Reagan, for the past 2 decades, has spent his whole career making better systems for detecting bugs early. He's done that at Lawrence Livermore, with a product he created and sold to Homeland Security under their BioWatch program. And he's also spent a lot of time in the PCR space at companies like Quantalife and Biorad. We have a lot of IP, technical know-how that Jack brings, my co-founder, on what we want to build and the
Mhm.
clear vision of it. But we're just getting started. We're pushing for building an alpha prototype soon and providing some preliminary data, which I think is the appropriate point to move the ball forward with later stage investors and customers.
And what type of investors are you hoping to connect with?
For right now, in the earlier stage, we're spending more time than we will in the future focusing on individual angels and angel groups
Hmm.
for a seed round. And for the Series A and beyond, we're really looking for capital partners that'll help finance us through the growth of the company. So these are more often your institutions, your VC firms, at the right time, perhaps a strategic group like a CVC arm of a biopharma company or a life science tools company. To put it simply, right now we focus primarily on the angel network, and we will transition to the institutional network more fulsomely over time.
Do you have any traction or milestones that you've achieved recently that you're excited to share about with potential partners or investors?
Like I said, we are at the early stages here, just having founded this company in
Yeah.
February.
Hmm.
Um, at this stage, it's heavily R&D. There's a lot of capabilities we're looking forward to announcing to the investor community. However, we are keeping many of those confidential, but hopefully we'll have some exciting updates by the end of the year or early next.
Okay, that is exciting. Congratulations to you on your third place finish at RESI in the Innovators Pitch Challenge. I'm sure you are aware that there were 54 companies pitching, so to finish in the top three is a great accomplishment. And I wanted to just ask you about that experience and how participating in the Innovators Pitch Challenge has impacted your fundraising strategy or visibility within the investor community.
Well, Jack, my co-founder, and I had actually attended Resi last year as we were still mulling over the concept of starting this business together.
Hmm.
We have found that Resi uniquely really has a community of folks that are open to meeting and open to networking, especially as it relates to, pitches for open financing rounds. And we had met a lot of great folks there last year. So our intent in joining was really to update that same community that we had started a company, closed a round of financing, and explain exactly what it was we were building and the problem we were trying to fix. As was our experience last year, I mean, very full calendars. We met a lot of folks. It was definitely a positive for us. I think my main goal was to be introduced to and meet more folks that are your typical institutional investor that'll be
Hmm.
more likely candidate for a Series A or beyond, which we did very successfully. But also, we did meet a lot of other investors as well that are currently engaged in an extension of the past financing we just closed. So it was very successful for us. We also had really great real estate on the pitching floor or where all the exposition tables
In
are.
the exhibition hall.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
We were right by all the meeting tables. So all the foot traffic going by to sit down for a meeting, they walked by our booth and asked us what we were doing. So it was great. We had a lot of conversations.
That's great. And of course, location, 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 right? That's
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that. And when you were in the Innovators Pitch Challenge at RESI, you were speaking to relevant investor judges. Did you receive any information during that feedback, or did you experience any questions that have informed your next steps?
Yes. And one thing that we did that I'd recommend to anyone pitching was we went to the room where we would be pitching a little bit ahead of time
Mm.
and watched a few other founders pitch themselves to get a feel of, what are the most common questions you'll be asked to make sure we were adequately prepared, which was really helpful for us so we could weave a lot of that content into our pitch ahead of time to get in front of those questions. But excitingly, I think most of the questions that we received are really just questions about the application, our competition, and our stage of development, which told
Hmm.
me at a high level two things. One, the minimum, the concept and business premise was exciting enough where the investor judges lean more towards wanting to learn more versus critiquing what they had heard, which a positive signal. But it also told me we could create some more succinct content about outlining who our competition is and the various applications that this technology could apply to. Obviously, we do have a lot of content on this, but it's granular in nature. But it was good feedback for me to hear that that would be valued in a first meeting for investors going forward.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a really good takeaway.
In these type of competitions, how little time you have, but
Yeah.
it's a good forcing function of getting your story down and making every second count in that pitch. And anytime you hear an investor ask a question that wasn't answered in your pitch, it's a signal that you should, even though you only have 6 minutes or so, you should find a way to fit it in.
Right, right. Yeah, it is. A good way to get your information succinct and clear. So, sometimes you only have that much time. What my last question for you is, what advice would you offer to other early stage biotech companies considering applying to pitch or attend RESI?
I'll respond first with a answer that's more related to pitching in particular than sort of a general Resi answer. When it comes to pitching, my entire career has been either in startups or venture capital. So I've seen and given thousands of pitches, but no matter how familiar you are with that or the content on your slide, you really need to rehearse the exact version of the pitch deck you're going to walk through. Not doing so and not hearing yourself give such a presentation has two pitfalls. So one, when you hear yourself give a pitch, you're going to figure out that probably 25 to 50% of the stuff you're saying isn't worth the second of real estate that it's taking. You can really cut back your pitch. And two, you can figure out what really resonates really well and make your pitch much more conversational, which always is conducive to a good pitch. I would recommend for everyone, experienced or not experienced, to rehearse a few times before presenting. That always helps. And for us, fortunately, as I said, we just closed our round, so we had ad nauseum gone through a pitch deck a few times, so we were pretty well rehearsed going into it. But it's always helpful. And then, with Resi uniquely, probably one of the most valuable things about attending is that partnering portal. Like I made a comment about earlier, the community there is very open to meeting, which kind of is a double-edged sword. One, you can get a lot of meetings, but two, calendars fill up very fast. As soon as you've decided you're going to Resi, I would recommend getting in the portal, figuring out who the investors are that are attending, and spending the time to make sure you're looking at the right ones that are a match for what you're building, and reaching out soon. If you do so correctly, you'll have a very full calendar, but if you wait till the last minute, you might just be walking around and begging people for a meeting, and it's definitely preferable to do the former. So take advantage of that portal.
That's great information. And as you mentioned, sometimes ad hoc location can also be helpful at an event like Resi. But yeah, getting in on the partnering platform early is a great tip. Carter, thank you for your time today, and we look forward to amplifying MantaBio in our newsletter.
Great. Thank you so much.